Now, Carmelo Anthony is accused of fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metaf during a track meet. And
people think he's innocent as well because of his race, and people are mainly just siding with him due to that and just making it a race issue. However, the reason why he isn't innocent is because he did premeditate this.
What the hell are you talking about? First, premeditated literally means to plan out the criminal act, which we know it wasn't planned.
Listen, dude, in no rational world is a dude gonna sit down that's 135 pounds and want to fucking 1v20 everybody in a motherfucking tent. They were clearly trying to bully him out the tent, and he just said, fuck you, which...
As much as you want to say it's not racially motivated, it's definitely racially motivated. And they want to keep that thickness in the air. It's even outside the courtroom.
This is about race. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, they wouldn't give a damn.
Welcome to What's He Brewing. Today, we're talking about the most talked about trial in America right now. A young man is dead, and another man is on trial for his life. Emotions is high, and social media is already divided. We're going to show footage on the inside of the courtroom and statements that has been had inside that courtroom, and we're going to listen to witness and testimony. We're going to examine how the media is now covering this case, and we're going to compare what's being said inside the courtroom and what's been said outside the courtroom. Before we get into the video today, let me talk about what the problem is. That the narrative is being built before facts are being examined.
News for us earlier when it came to the jury. There have been a lot of questions about who's on this jury, what may be their demographics, how will that impact a case that has had a lot of polarization racially, especially online, even though we know these parties say, even the prosecution today in the opening saying this is not about race. But what have you observed about the racial makeup of this jury?
Yeah, Julia. So, of course, you know, this with the optics of this case, this story here, young black kid, young white kid, violent crime. Of course, people are going to have their opinions. They're going to have their judgments. And, you know, the jury was, you know, that the makeup of the jury was in question. And so, of course, I was in jury selection yesterday, and that jury was seated around just after 5 p.m. yesterday. And I couldn't necessarily see the courtroom today. You know, we saw reports last night that there was no African-American people on the jury.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
And that held to be true. It's a majority white jury, of course, made up of men and women. There are 3 Asian women on the jury. One looks what looked to be a Middle Eastern woman on the jury, and another person of darker complexion on the jury, but none of them were African American. There's a total of 12 jurors, 6 alternates, so a total of 18, I guess I should say. But yeah, majority white jury, all the men are white as well. So the reports were true. No African-American people on this jury. I remember yesterday during jury selection, the defense raised an objection to the prosecution's strikes. In the strike zone, there were 3 black female jurors that the prosecution wanted to strike, and that would have been all the African-American jurors that were available at the time. And the prosecution says they did not strike them on a racial basis, but on an occupational basis because they were all educators, and they thought that would hold some sort of bias because all of this went down at a school. But the defense's objection was eventually denied by the judge, and the judge, you know, granted the strikes on behalf of the prosecution. So those are the only 3 available African-American jurors at the time, right before the jury got seated. That objection got denied about 15 minutes before it was seated yesterday. So majority white jury, 3 Asian women and 2 women of color, but no African-Americans at all.
Wow, and the judge saying that there were race-neutral reasons for the strikes of the African-Americans in that pool. Cody Thomas, thank you for...
Let's talk about the obvious. The obvious thing is that you got 3 black females who got strike because they're educators. Because they are teachers. That's the reason why you're going to remove somebody from a trial, because it happened at school. Why don't you remove people who kids go to school? How about that? Everybody on there, you got kids? Yeah, we got to strike you because your child go to a school. You would think if something is happening in the medical profession, you would want a doctor to be on the jury. If something that happened to somebody who was in the military, I'm pretty sure you would want somebody in the military on the jury. But something that happened in the school, we got to strike you because you probably give us an angle where we would probably be biased, and we don't want you on the jury. And black ain't got nothing to do with it. Nobody, anybody out there, nobody believes that black has anything to do with it. We just gonna report that ain't no black people on the jury. Not even one. The closest thing you got to being black It's somebody melanated. They didn't even give him a race. Didn't even give him a race. Oh, we got somebody like kind of sorta black, but not really. Not really. And then the fact that you got all white men on the jury, majority white men. Oh, you should ask them. Any of y'all have a son, okay, that played football? Okay, they need to be striked from the jury, Your Honor, because it could be some bias going on right here. This could be some bias going on. They need to be striked. Yeah. Oh, it ain't got nothing to do with race. It's the fact that their father, they got a kid who plays football, and it just so happened he white.
He's not a liar, but he's right.
Also today, prosecutors showed surveillance video of the incident. Cody Thomas of Court TV was in the courtroom today for all of the testimony. Cody, I know that there's a 911 call that was played that we'll talk about, some very emotional testimony there at the end of the day. But I want to begin right after opening statements. Surveillance video of this incident was shown. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Chris, it was 5 different angles, surveillance video. Looked like the cameras were on like the light post inside the high school football stadium because they were very wide shots. So the first witness was a forensic video analyst who obviously went through and tried to enhance the videos. We watched the original videos first, and quite frankly, you really couldn't see much of anything. And then after a few minutes, we zoomed in. He showed all the enhancements, and he had, spot shadowing and highlighting who we're supposed to be looking at. You can't really make out any distinct features, and the prosecution admitted that before they even played the video. They had to look at clothing and identify the person of interest, who, of course, is Carmelo Anthony, and the victim, who is Austin Metaf. So they outlined all of that based on the photos that came out later once Carmelo was taken into custody. But again, the videos, it establishes what happened. You can definitely make out what happened, but it wasn't, to me personally, as compelling as I thought it would be, because it looks like gas station video. It's really grainy. It's zoomed in. When it's zoomed out, it looks high quality, but when it zooms in, as with any picture, it loses some of the quality. But you can see the tent where everything goes down. You see Carmelo Anthony walk under the tent 2 minutes before Austin Metaf and his friends get to the tent. And then everything starts going down within 4.5 minutes. You see, just kind of some humanoid blobs under the yellow Memorial High School tent. And then you see one figure kind of jolt, really fast jolts to and from, which they were saying, the prosecution was saying that was the initial push. They're not denying that Austin Metaf, made physical contact. They admitted that there was a physical altercation, but that was the moment you saw the push. And then, of course, you see the 25, 30 kids start scattering throughout the bleachers. And then you see the person of interest, again, Carmelo Anthony, running down the bleachers, running a ways away from where the tent was, out onto the track and into the arms of another coach, Chris. But again, the video, of course, establishing, giving us, painting a picture of what it looked like that morning. This all happened around 10:02 in the morning, right when the track meet was supposed to start. Just really giving us a scene setter, just to allow us to understand what was really going down that day.
So one of the first people they bring up is forensic guy supposed to be over the surveillance, special whatever. Now, the thing is, it's grainy. That's the problem I have with the footage. It's grainy. So you need somebody to tell us in their professional opinion what's going on. How about this? How about you release the grainy footage? How about doing that? Because I would love to see where he's getting his reference from to whether or not I agree what I see. And that's what everyone has to determine, what was on the video footage. Because many times when that footage come out, it's funny how we can see things differently.
You seen the video on 2 hours. Was it clear enough or was it fuzzy or what?
No, it was clear. It was clear enough where you can see the actual individual raindrops come by the cameras.
Okay.
That's how clear it is. You actually see them walking up. You see that Carmelo is already up under there. He's under there minding his business.
Dodging the rain or?
Yeah, it was still raining.
Right.
I'm from Louisville. So that day we were under a tornado watch.
Right.
And we were under thunderstorm warning. And we know we had already had some light rain then, and it started raining again. Then it was over with for the day. Okay. So that's kind of what happened on that day. But they were at a rain delay already. And so during that time, when that happened, the twins, their 2 buddies, and a few other kids, because there was a few kids involved with them, they were all coming from the direction of the middle school, coming walking back up.
Right.
On the video, you can see those 4 that actually was involved, and maybe about 3 or 4 others that was with them, skipping up, trying to catch up behind. One veered off probably toward his way to go to the coach and kind of distract them a little bit. and then the other 4 came walking together. One went in front of them, went past.
Right.
The other 4 went and they surrounded Carmelo. You know, if you're Carmelo,
And they showed that on that video.
it's on the video.
Okay, come on.
You can see them walk.
I'm gonna say little
And
stuff.
I'll put
while
it
you
this
talk.
way.
Okay.
They actually tell you when you're watching the video, pay attention to this corner right here, because if you look anywhere else, you might miss different things.
Okay.
So watch those 4. Here, they're 4 right there coming up.
Right.
That's exactly what they say.
Okay.
And so you have no way to be confused that it's those 4.
Okay.
So they come up, they surround them, and this immediate moment of not even a few seconds of pause, then that's when they jump. And so
they actually did jump him.
yeah, it wasn't just no touch. It wasn't just all that moment. Yeah, it was a push. It was all kind of things. But Austin pushed, Hunter hit, and then everybody swung. But at the same time,
So it's more than the twins that got some licks
all
on.
4.
So it showed that in the video.
Yes, in the video. So again, you got Hunter and Austin standing in the middle,
Okay.
and you have the light bright boy here, and you have the darker boy here.
Okay.
I think that's what I remember. So I have to go back and think about it. But that's where they were. One was going up and down while they were talking and kind of pushing or whatever he was doing. Austin and Hunter was in front. So where they're talking about grabbing bags, Hunter actually said that I grabbed his bag.
Right.
And then later on, he said that Austin threw the bag.
Okay.
Jeff also said the same thing. And so that's them both antagonizing. And we know under Texas law, I just have the fear that you're about to do something to me and you can get up out of here. Yeah, so you don't have to touch me. But at that point, he still stood there and stopped there. And whatever they say alleged was said, you don't know that until they get into it here. But once they did that, they started hitting them. Carmelo actually was able to back out and try to get away. So he was actually trying to get away the first time. Austin grabbed him, and you could see his hoodie coming out like this, and they brought him back in.
Okay.
And when they brought him back in, that's when you could see Austin put him in a headlock. You could see that all the rest of them are still hitting. That must be when the poke happened, because he was able to get out again. He backed out. He looked to the right. That's where the other little kid was filming, because they got some cell phone footage too. But that's where he was filming. He looked directly at him in his camera, and then he went this way to the left. He went down. He fell. And that's when they realized he was gone, because they were still punching. And when he fell, that's when they all turned around. They started chasing him. Austin tried to go chase him too, but he grabbed his chest. I guess he realized that something happened to him. And that's when he went down a little bit and he fell down. But all 3 of them were chasing. But Carmelo was so fast, he got away and went around to the coach. And so you can see them on the video pointing toward Carmelo and the coach. And I can imagine, because Carmelo's out of the camera on that moment, that he was telling the coach what happened. And then that's when Hunter said he whipped his head around. That's a true statement. He just wasn't sitting with you. He whipped his head around. You see him on the video. And that's when he walked over to where Austin was, but he never touched him. So all that stuff about him rendering aid and holding his heart, he never did that, because the coach grabbed him and he was holding him. So at the end of the day, that's kind of where the moment went. But they did assault him, and we'll just play the game. Even if it was just a push, you still assaulted him, because it was unwanted. By your own definition and your word of him saying that, leave me alone, and I'm not going, you assaulted him, period.
This person said they clearly saw Austin being the aggressor. Clearly saw the pull and the pushing from Austin. Clearly saw that people was circling him, and why he would fear for, I don't want to say his life, but fear that he was in danger. Because truth be told, it don't take much to kill yourself or someone to hurt you to where you're no longer here. Because it was just one stab from a 3.5-inch blade. That didn't take a lot. How about him being pushed down some bleachers into some concrete or into that metal bleacher? Gone. That quick. That quick. How is this totally different from what we're hearing coming out of the courtroom? We're hearing that it's clear. The video is clear enough for you to see who are the aggressors. Now, my thing is, if this is to be true, I still don't understand why we don't get to see it for ourselves. We don't get to see this footage for ourselves. We got somebody who actually has a little insight of what was being said inside the courtroom that testified against Carmelo in this situation. And let's see what's consistent about their testimony over and over.
So This 16 is from Memorial High School. I believe he is 16 years old. He said that he knew not to bring a weapon to the track meet. He said that it threw him off to see Carmelo Anthony sitting under their tent. He says that Carmelo was provoking Austin. He says that Austin put his hands on Carmelo's shoulder. Then he heard Austin say he stabbed me. He says that he did not expect someone to get stabbed at a track meet. And then they asked him if Carmelo Anthony was acting in self-defense. He said no, that is lethal force against non-lethal force. Now, Shook got up to do the cross. Do you remember telling the detective that Hunter popped in to defend Austin? He said yes. And then he said, do you remember in your written statement that you said that Austin had put his hands on Carmelo Anthony's shoulders to intimidate him? He said yes, but it was more of a warning because actions speak louder than words. And then he asked him about Austin's build. He said it was a bigger build, but more broad. And then he said, well, couldn't Austin look a little intimidating? He said, sure, yeah. They not letting me know if the defense did any objections, because I would have objected to the fact that we are leading, because leading is, well, is it self-defense? That's not for you to determine. What he considers as what he did, that's on him. You cannot determine what somebody else considers to be self-defense, okay? Witness 17 is another boy who is 16, I believe. He ran track and football. Now, he said he helped set up the tent. They asked him if he saw anyone that did not belong. And he said yes, he went to Centennial. He says we told him to leave multiple times. He says he does not leave. He starts to get angry and then he starts to provoke Austin. And he says that Carmelo provoked them by saying, make me leave. And they asked him who was instigating and he said Carmelo. Now, Shook got up to the cross. Now, he asked him when Austin decided to try and get him out, how did he get to him? And he said he walked over to him. Was Carmelo still sitting down? I think so. Did he grab or push him? He pushed him with both hands. Now on redirect, what happens next? We just got open-ended questions. Okay. Austin tries to force him out because we didn't have any other choice. Did Carmelo have his hand in his backpack? Yes. Describe the push from Austin. It was a little push. You gotta push. Austin Metaf meant a lot to you. Yes. Now, I had got lost in my notes, so I don't know what the question was, but he did say this was murder. He said that Carmelo was being stubborn. Recross. He said once it stopped raining, that's when Carmelo was asked to leave. But as long as it was raining, it was okay for him to be under the tent. And he asked him, you said that Eddie called him Mello, right? Now, Eddie is supposed to be the friend that he had came to the tent to speak to. They are no longer friends. He used to refer to him as a friend, but he called him by his nickname, okay? Him talking about we didn't have no other choice, that's a lie from hell. That is not the appropriate. Witness 18, I believe this is another 16-year-old. I don't know how all these people are 16 years old, but anyway, child. He says that Carmelo Anthony sat next to him. I don't believe this is Eddie, based on some of the stuff that says later, but okay. Try and keep up like me. Did this worry you or bother you that he was sitting next to you? And he said, well, kind of, because everybody's supposed to be in their own tents. What did Carmelo say? He said he was not leaving, and he started using profanity. And he said, well, what did Carmelo do? He started to get more aggressive. Now, what does he say next? Fuck y'all, I'm not leaving. Y'all a bunch of pussies. Really? Did Austin take the lead? Yes. He says that Carmelo put his hand in the back and he said 5 times, don't touch me, see what happens. So he said 5 times, don't touch me, see what happened. 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 He said, Austin said he's not going to touch this guy. And he said he was calm. And then he said after he got stabbed, he saw a big hole and blood coming out of his upper body. Now, Shook got up to the cross again. Why didn't you tell the police about the cussing when you spoke with them? I don't recall. How was Carmelo Anthony's conversation with his friend? He was friendly. So how we get to, fuck y'all, y'all some pussies all of a sudden. Nobody has the same verbiage on none of these statements about what they said he said. Now we got cussing all of a sudden. He cussing y'all out? Calling y'all pussies? Really? Where is this coming from? This is no consistency at all.
And let's get into this post that was on X and what we see right here and how some people commented on it. And you can kind of see what's going on in our surrounding social media and how this topic is really divided racially. So first off, you see a photo of Whitson House. If you don't know who Whitson House is, this is the kid who killed 2 people and injured 1. It was during that Black Lives Matter situation. So Whitson House, we know that he was not from the town that he went into. Also, he was 17 years old. So Anthony was actually at the track meet he's supposed to be at. So we comparing the two, y'all, so we can actually see how we should understand what should be the outcome. So they both 17, one carrying a AR-15, which he was carrying it illegally. It was against the law for him to have it at age 17. The other one was carrying a knife, which is, by the way, not against the law. It's not against the law to have a knife, especially not in Texas. Anything less than 5.5 inches long is legal in Texas. Now, somebody gonna say, yeah, but he shouldn't have it at school. I agree with you. He should not have it at school. So the worst case punishment should be he should be suspended. That's it. You don't go to prison for having a weapon at school. You get disciplinary charges. Now, he used that weapon in a defense for himself, which is not illegal. But let's move on. They said this person was attacked. They said Wittenhouse was attacked after warning the people who attacked him. Now, Anthony warned his person, his aggressor, 5 times. Don't put your hands on me. 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 Now you would think that's enough. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. It's enough warning. Don't put your hands on me. And I'm pretty sure, and I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure Texas, being Texas, have a stand your ground law. I guarantee you. And I don't know it, but I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah. So we're moving on. This person killed 2 people, injured 1. Anthony killed 1. Now, I ain't saying we comparing notes, but let's compare notes. You know what I mean? Because Wittenhouse got off. He got acquitted. Now, Wittenhouse raised almost $600,000 for his defense. Now, this is important, y'all. I'm gonna tell you why this is important. This is important because they trying to keep Anthony from raising funds and using it for part of his defense. Now, everybody know that the best defense is money. You can ask OJ. Now, one of the many reasons Black Americans watch cases like this differently isn't because we don't view them in isolation. We're not just looking at one trial. We're not just looking at one defendant. We're not just looking at one verdict. We're looking at a generation of experiences that shape how we see justice, fairly, and equality. See, Yahushua himself said in John 7:24, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Because if this was 2 black kids, wouldn't be in the headlines. If this was 2 white kids, it wouldn't be in the headlines. We should judge according to righteous judgment. This is the reason why I have problems with the video not being seen at this point. I just don't like people covering up what is public information. If it's out there, let us see it. Why? Because it will crush all this infighting. It will give us a better understanding of what it is that we're already judging on, but not according to the facts. And I really can't wait, because I know they're going to show it, to where we can have our own opinion based upon what we actually see. And I still would not be surprised if things still would be based upon what shade of color you are. I guarantee you, it's still going to boil down to it. Somebody's going to be upset about how this verdict turned out. And I guarantee you, it's going to be down racial lines. So when it happens, we're going to be able to go to it and we're going to be able to see down racial lines what the problem is, how we see things from our own lens. If you like this video, you're going to definitely love this video, because we need to figure out which God are they serving. I bet you this will tell you what God they're serving. So go ahead and click on it.